Thank you very much, Teresa, for your kind words, and thank you very much to NIAC for having us all here. The good news about being first, of course, is that I have all the ideas in front of me, all the potential is there. Bad news, of course, is that my far more luminous colleagues are not going to be able to draw on their expertise for my own talk. So we'll see how we go. But I think that the parliamentary election tells us much about the state of the political game in Iran, about how deeply conservatives have consolidated their power and how they are likely to keep that grip in the future. Of high interest is how this vote will affect the re-election chances of President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in 2009 or another staunchly conservative candidate tipped by Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, if he tires of Ahmadinejad's bellicosity. There was no shortage of drama, nor of the vicious rhetorical bloodletting that has long defined Iran's divisive politics. Of course, it's not just Iran, that may sound familiar with what we're seeing on the campaign trail here. Rivals were tagged enemies and traitors, or men with fossilized minds. All sides claimed to be the true torchbearers of the Islamic Revolution. The results themselves were no surprise. After more than 2,000 disqualifications, most of them reformist candidates, a magnitude that embarrassed even some of the hardliners. Conservative factions handily kept their 70% majority, but a sizable number of deputies are moderate conservatives who will certainly challenge the president in Parliament. And the reformists, divided among themselves, were easy prey. Candidates linked to the former President Mohammad Khatami were largely barred. Those tied to Mehdi Karoubi, who himself hopes to run for president next year, helped add a handful of seats to the reformist total. Karoubi lobbied hard, the supreme leader directly, at least twice, to reinstate some of his candidates, promising their loyalty to Iran's Islamic system with Khamenei at its head. Because they were not completely shut out, reformists declared that they had, quote, gained victory in an unequal election because they, quote, managed to disturb the game of our opponents. But parsing the results seat by seat may not be as important as stepping back and seeing what really happened. For despite soaring inflation, despite high unemployment, despite a litany of complaints from Iranians about unfulfilled presidential promises of bringing Iran's vast oil wealth to improve their lives, and despite criticism so withering against Ahmadinejad, especially in Tehran and even among fellow hardliners, despite all these issues that would doom the chances of most ruling parties in the West, the conservatives have blocked a reformist comeback bid. Listen to these voices from Tehran. Quote, the potent combination of nationalism, ideological zeal, and fear of foreign interference has closed down the political space, one political scientist in Tehran told me. And quoting again, this is a deliberate and pre-engineered clearing the way for Khamenei to ensure conservative dominance in Iranian politics for years to come. They want to finish what they have not, getting rid of any reformist inclinations, giving a message to reformists not even to contemplate a presidential comeback. A reformist editor told me, conservatives will, quote, never allow themselves to lose a major election again. Conservatives confirmed as much to me, with one saying that reformists, in his mind, those disloyal to the Islamic system, are permitted to, quote, be in society, but that they should not hold power. Indeed, conservatives know all too well how to claw their way out of the political wilderness. They established the comeback pattern by winning the little-attended municipal elections in 2002, then taking the modulus in 2004, and finally winning the presidency in 2005. This time, reformists and moderate conservatives appeared to have taken the first step on that very path during the late 2006 municipal elections when they trounced Ahmadinejad's allies. But this time, the hardliners were ready for them. They were confident enough to break a long-standing taboo against the military meddling in politics, a taboo laid down by the father of the Islamic Revolution himself, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. The Revolutionary Guard commander explicitly told his forces that, quote, to follow the path of the Islamic Revolution, i.e. supporting Ahmadinejad's hardline alliance, was, quote, necessary, inevitable, and a divine duty of all revolutionary groups. The general was widely criticized, even among the most strident supporters of the regime, but his message was clear. And he was not alone in sending that message. The supreme leader, who normally keeps above public politics, told voters just days before the election that continuing the work of Ahmadinejad's government was crucial. A high turnout, he said, would defeat the enemies, as usual, the U.S. and the West. And there were many other more subtle messages that helped give advantage to the conservative principlist faction. Banners and Friday prayers in Tehran before the vote made a play on words, linking the ideals of the revolution with that faction. The day before the election, at the Mausoleum Shrine of Khomeini south of Tehran, I saw cards with lists of the principlist candidates with portraits of both Ahmadinejad and Khomeini, quietly left in a pile on circular pieces of clay used